So you join me for what is going to effectively be one of the final two ideas that make up finishing off trig equations. This one is probably the trickier out of the two, and that is equations where we've got multiples of an angle, or as you're going to see in the second video, even more complicated angles where you've got like 2x plus something in here. So these do make a trig equation a bit tricky because we've got to think what that actually means, what the implications of that are. It does, and this is the key change, mean that when we do our inverse sine, we don't get back x. So if we do an inverse sine here of, say, 0.24, we get our 2x because that is our angle inside the sine. That is a really important difference because over here, when we inverse the angle, we also have to think what range that angle is going to be in. So our x is between 0 and 360, but our angle here, which is 2x, is between 0 and double that, because 2x, if x was as big as 360, 2x would be 720. So actually, when we're looking at our angles, we're working in this range. We're keeping that 2x. We're thinking about angles in the range between 0 and 720. And only at the very end will I divide by that 2. So I'm almost thinking this is a single thing. This is my angle is 2x. Let's figure out what that is. We'll pop that in a calculator. We get 13.49573. We'll round that to 13.5 degrees. So that is one of my angles. Remembering my angle is 2x. We'll figure out what x is in a minute, but we're going to find our other angles first, and that's really important. You have to find all your angles first, and then we'll worry about dividing by the 2x. The reason that's important is the angle is what applies to solving this sine. So if we started messing around going down to x straight away, we'd be messing with an individual bit here rather than with the whole angle that we were solving for. So here's my little picture with my graph. Bring that up for you a wee bit. So first angle is here at 13.5. That's obvious from our graph. This section here matches this bit over here. So we're doing 180 and going back. So 180 minus 13.5. And we can figure out what that is. That gives us 166.5 degrees. But remember, this is our angle. This is our other angle. So this is still equal to 2x. Same thing with a cast diagram, just if you're using that method. Sine is positive, so rather up here or up here. That's 180. Because we're working with a positive, our relative acute angle is just 13.5. We do 180 minus our relative acute angle. So we again get 166.5. But these are our two x's, and we said they could lie anywhere in the range between 0 and 720. So like we were doing in the first video this week, we're going to look for other angles that are beyond 360. So we could have that 2x equals 13.5. And then because sine repeats every 360, we could add 360 onto that. That gives us 373.5 degrees. We could try this one. So 2x could also equal 166.5 plus 360. That also gives us an angle that is 526.5 degrees. Check. These are all within that range. If we added another 360, that's definitely going to make these over 720. So we can stop. These are our four angles. But these are all given as 2x, but we are solving for x. So our final step is to go, well, 2x was equal to 13.5. Up here, 2x equaled 13.5. So x equals 6.75 degrees. And we need to do that for each of the angles that we found. So 2x could equal 166.5. So in that case, our x equals 83.25 degrees. 2x could equal 373.5. So this is actually quite repetitive. Once you've figured out this last bit and what you're actually trying to do with it, then it's quite just working through each one. But it is important you don't do any of this division work until the end, otherwise you'll mess up your angles. So there we go. We have 4 answers. They are 6.75, 83.25, 186.75, and 263.25. So these 4, I'll underline them. It's probably the best way. That's an answer. That's an answer. That's an answer. And x equals that is an answer. So we've got 4 answers that we have worked out. Going to give you your turn on that just so you can see another example. This one actually has only got 2 answers, so work your way through it. It's only got 2 answers because I've actually limited the range of x's between 0 and 180. So that is going to give you a slightly shorter bit of working for you to work through. Have a go, pause the video, and I will resume in just a moment with the answer. Excellent. So I did say I've made this slightly easier for you. I've actually probably made the start harder because there's a wee bit of rearranging to do first. Hopefully you realized that from our second task this week. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So we get 7 cos 2x equals 1. And so cos of 2x equals a 7th. That means we can find x by doing cos to the minus, we can find 2x by doing cos to the minus 1 of a 7th. And doing that should have given you 81.79 when you round it to 2 decimal places. But simultaneously, we've got to think about this. We're not solving between 0 and 180 because we're getting that angle 2x. So 0 is less than or equal to 2x. Well, if we're doubling everything, that's going to be less than 360. So if x lies between 0 and 180, 2x lies between 0 and 360. That means we've got more angles to find. Let's have a look at our graph. Well, the first angle here falls along here at 82-ish degrees. That's coming along that section of the graph there. So to come back to this second angle, we need to come back from 360. So we're going to get 360 take away 81.79. If we do that, we get 278.21 degrees. Little cast diagram would also give us that. So cos is positive here and here. That's 360. This is 360 minus the relative acute angle, which is exactly the calculation we've done there, because the relative acute angle is just 81.79 because we're starting with a positive. And this is just our relative acute angle. So we've got this angle up here and this one down here. That's not as finished though, because that is equal to 2x. Because when we found our angle was 2x's. We want to know what x is. So with 2x equal to 81.79 from up above. So x is equal to 40.90 degrees, or 2x equal 278.21. In that case, when we divide by 2, x equals 139.11. I think, yes. Because it would be 105, which rounds to 11. I've rounded these at the same time as working them out. It's not very good practice. Apologies. But we've got our 2 answers there. Which are those 2? are there any more, you might ask? Well, if I add 360 to this, then our value of 2x would become bigger than 360. So that's how you know to stop with just these two. Now, that gives us a really good starting point for this. You might want to go away and practice some questions. These are reasonably tricky as they are, so you might want to go and practice some of the Part A questions. Second video will help you answer the Part B questions.